Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. I'm being indicted. You have to remember this, and I believe it's true. I'm being indicted for you. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. This is an honor to be doing this. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way. That's truthful. You know, if I wasn't doing this, if I weren't running, or probably if I was in 5th place or 4th place or even 3rd place, this wouldn't be taking place. But we're so far ahead of him and we're so far ahead of everyone that they've done this. And, you know, now they're saying, let's rush it to the Supreme Court. We've got to rush it, rush it, rush it. They could have started 3 years ago. Nothing changed. They could have started 3 years ago, but they didn't. They started just recently with this crap. They started just recently. They could have brought this lawsuit, Brenna, 3 years ago, right after I left. It's been 3 years, but they didn't do that. And now they're saying, we have to go immediately before the Supreme Court. This thing would have all been over with 2 years ago. But they waited and waited and waited, and then they saw I was running, and they waited, and then they saw I was hot, and they filed lawsuits. These are very dishonest people. That's called election interference. And now they're fighting like hell because they want to try and get a guilty plea from the Supreme Court of the United States, which I can't imagine because you have presidential immunity. But strange things happen, but they want to get that because that's the only way they're going to win the election. It's a very sick thing. But think of it. They waited and waited and waited for years. In fact, nobody thought, everyone was saying they're never going to bring any charges. Most people said they're not going to bring them because they don't have anything. And then all of a sudden we started getting hit with these lawsuits. And in fact, in New York, in the DA's office, they actually took a top prosecutor from Washington and put him in the local DA's office. They took a top prosecutor from Washington and put him with Letitia James, a very fine woman. Very fine. A woman who campaigned without knowing anything about me. I will get Trump. I will get Trump. I will get Trump. She's screaming. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And they got nothing. They got nothing. But they have a good judge for them. And it's a very, sadly to say, it's a very corrupt system. But they got nothing. But they actually took somebody from the DOJ, put her there. They took somebody from the DOJ and put that person, top person, in the DA's office. You think my life is fun, front row Joes? You think it's fun? But it is for me because we're going to make our country greater than ever before. That's what it is. And this is far more than a campaign. This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you. We're engaged in a righteous crusade to liberate this nation from a corrupt political class that is waging war on American democracy. They are destroying our country, rapidly destroying our country in many different ways, with injustice, with borders, with taxes, in many different ways. They're destroying our country, with lack of respect from the rest of the world. If you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. We're not a free nation right now. I mean, you look at school boards where they're going after the parents, where they're going after Catholics in particular. They're going after, how can a Catholic vote for this group of people? Or Democrats? They're going, I don't know what it is with Catholics. They're going violently and viciously after Catholics. They're going after Christians, but they're really going after Catholics at a level that nobody quite understands. Together, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. We built 561 miles of border wall, and we got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. You know, They always say, oh, but did he get money from Mexico? First of all, I built more wall than I said I was good. I thought it would be 350, 400. We did 561. We were ready to add another 200. Could have been done in 3 weeks, but these guys ended up not putting it up. All you had to do is slap it up. That was all built. And they put it in areas, and I hear they sold it for pennies on the dollar, and it was the exact wall that the Border Patrol wanted, who are great people, Brandon Judd, and all of the people that I had working on the border. These are incredible people. And we worked with Tom Homan, who he's central casting. He was fantastic. But I appointed nearly 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, which no other president was doing. They talked about it. They never did it. They all talked about it for decades and decades. They never did it. I got it done. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And actually, probably most important of all, but Biden's done nothing with it.